Hello and welcome to New York Sofalites. My name is Rachel and I am here with my oldest friend in the world, Gretchen.
Hmm.
And we are missing our third Sofalite today, but she's here in spirit,
Yes.
especially because we are here to talk about a topic that is very near and dear to our hearts, which is film costumes. We
Hmm.
kind of talked about this a little bit last week, but I think that we were bummed because we talked a lot about film costumes that we didn't like. So this week we are here to talk about costumes that we do like,
Yes.
and the wonderful fashion designers who designed them. So we came up with
Hmm.
kind of like a top 5 to 6
Yeah.
list
Yeah.
of movies costumed by famous fashion
Yeah.
designers. And we're going to kind of go through them and talk a little bit about some thoughts.
Yeah. So this might be a series, but I think today we're kind of focusing on famous designers that dabbled in movies rather than like more people who focus on movie costuming. And then maybe we'll go into, you know, other movies in the future because I think Stephanie has a lot to say about this too.
Yes.
But so we might give a couple honorable mentions because I think people, if we don't mention certain outfits, will be shouting at their phones. So we should mention them, but we might go into deeper discussion of them later. But there's a lot of really interesting crossover between fashion and movie world, of course, as we know from our last conversation with Devil's Wears Prada. It wasn't as overt, but it's very narrative in that situation. So yeah, so it goes way back, that crossover. I think we could,
Way back.
yeah, we could probably start at the very beginning of movies, but I think we're gonna kind of start in the 60s or 70s today. So, Barbarella is the obvious one. That's a really good one, Rachel, that you mentioned with Paco Rabanne.
This might be my favorite.
Mhm.
Well, no, it's not. But it's one of my favorite examples of when someone who is like a fashion designer and like generally designs fashion lines does the costumes for like a movie.
Hmm.
Not just like a few pieces from an existing line being pulled into the movie, kind of like, you see all the time and you see with The Devil Wears Prada. This is custom made for this movie by Paco Rabanne for this like futuristic, like actiony, like what kind of
Kind of sci-fi,
a
right?
sci-fi?
Yeah,
Yeah.
futuristic. I think I love the costumes for this movie because they are so of the time, which is the 60s, but also feels, Jane Fonda in them, it feels so modern and so forward thinking. And I think Paco Rabanne's like fingerprint is on them without it being overpowering for the character or the story. So I love this approach. I think it was kind of genius. I love it. And yeah, I love Barbarella, the kind of fashion through line there.
It's absolutely iconic. I can think of like I feel like this kind of like set the template for
Hmm.
like futuristic 60s fashion. Like this is so on point and then we saw it like right up until today. Like it really defined this look of like
Yeah.
the the big hair and the like shiny boots and bodysuits and like the 60s silhouettes and like
Hmm.
even today when we think about like people costuming things that are supposed to be like set in space or being sci-fi or whatever, they all look like this movie
Yeah.
because this movie like now you can't make a sci-fi like thing about sexy space people without it looking like Barbarella, which is
Yeah,
really incredible.
totally. And I love that about it. And I kind of love that, yeah, it goes beyond costuming in that way. It's definitely it's fashion. It hit the zeitgeist really nicely, but it also feels, yeah, like of the time. And Jane Fonda is amazing, looks amazing in
Oh
all
my
these
God,
outfits. Yeah.
incredible.
And the big hair that's kind of like the hair I think is more like something that Brigitte Bardot made famous, like that kind of big bedhead. But
Yes.
um who they were both married to the same man, which is interesting. But
Hmm.
yeah, at different points, obviously. But but you can almost see like, yeah, like you say, the through line through all these different costuming or ideas or movies or how we think about, space travel in movies. It's kind of like it's not even Star Wars because Star Wars has this like, more realistic, rustic kind of feel to it sometimes. Barbarella has the more spectacular, spectacle. In that sense of the word spectacular, idea of kind of spacey fashion. So I love that.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And very 60s and,
Hmm.
everything all the way up into like Austin Powers. It's like drawing
Yeah,
on
totally.
this movie. So
Yeah.
very cool. We love it.
Yeah. So in that same kind of era, I think American Gigolo is later, but there's American Gigolo. I think this one really put Richard Gere on the map because of all his suits, right? It was just sort of like,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Richard Gere being just like a tiny hot man in a very big suit.
Is he
And
tiny? I don't
I
know anything about like his size.
I think that he seems small,
Yeah,
or Julia Roberts is quite tall, but I feel like
maybe both.
maybe both. I feel like I imagine him as being kind of short. I feel like
Hmm.
actors can be,
Oh, they're usually like I think that feel like the big actors are pretty short. Like I mean Tom Cruise is the obvious one, but the a lot of
yes,
big
the big
actors.
small actors. I think Richard Gere is among them.
Yes,
Let's
that
let's
makes sense.
Google.
Yeah, how tall is Richard Gere? But while you do that, yeah, I mean, there's so many things that are so iconic about this movie. And again, it was very of its time. It's 1980, so transitioning from the 70s to the 80s, but it was very like one of those, what do they call them? Like erotic thrillers almost, that were very
Yes.
80s, late 70s. But I think even Lauren Hutton has some nice suits in this movie too, if I remember
Yes.
correctly. Like she has like a blue book.
Everybody has nice suits. I mean,
Yeah,
Giorgio Armani like ate in this
yeah,
movie.
yeah. That's I should have mentioned that. Armani made all the suits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the suits are Giorgio Armani, and this is kind of like what defines, I think, this person, right? Is
Hmm.
like in the 80s, this guy wearing this suit.
Yes, yes.
And the prototype of that is Richard Gere in this movie.
Yeah. And I think in this particular movie, it was all about kind of the things he has and his presence, and the costuming was so vital to that. Like if it was off, it would have been so, I don't think it would have been as good. It wouldn't have made as much sense. Like his character would have felt, maybe a little less strong or a little bit more like not pitiful, but like the costuming spoke so well to what they were trying to do. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's this kind of character who like, they get up in the morning and they put on this suit and that's like their mask
Hmm.
and their
Yeah,
armor.
exactly.
And being a man at this time in history,
Hmm.
like you put on that suit and you do have a lot of power. And the
Yeah.
Armani suit in particular became such a symbol of like the trappings of
Yeah.
wealth and power, and all the way through to like American Psycho, where we're like
Hmm.
then making fun of that kind of wealth and
Yeah. I mean,
power.
we're still talking about Armani suits.
Although American Psycho is giving very much Brooks Brothers to me,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't look too deeply into the costumes from that movie,
I
so we might have to circle back.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I do recall even in the 90s, there is that Father of the Bride line where he has an Armani suit, but it's blue, and they're like, "Does Armani make a blue suit?" Like it was, kind of funny. But I did just find, I don't know how if you found out how tall Richard Gere
He's
was.
5'10",
Okay,
so
yeah, so
he's not like
he's like average-ish.
super short. I feel like
Yeah,
maybe that's average, but
yeah.
he definitely seems like he's, you know, the Armani suit of the time was like a little bit big in the shoulders. It like
Yeah.
hung pretty square. This is not a slim fit Italian cut suit.
Yes.
This is like a large wall of man is walking at you
Yeah.
in this suit.
Yes, yes, totally. And I did just see that John Travolta was originally cast in that role. and he's 6'2". So Armani had to remake all the suits apparently when Richard Gere got cast. So
Oh my
yeah,
God.
isn't
Can
that
you
funny?
imagine John Travolta in this movie?
No, no, I can't. I feel like, I mean, John Travolta is great. Don't get me wrong. And I feel like in Pulp Fiction, he proved he probably could have done this movie. I'm not sure if he could have done this movie at the time. I
Because
feel
this
like
was like at the time of
1980.
like staying alive
Yeah, yeah,
and like, what am I thinking of? Saturday Night Fever and
yeah, yeah.
like,
It's a little bit too close, and he wouldn't have cut like the Saturday Night Fever character is a little bit too like cocky and a little bit like in a different way. So I can't
yeah,
imagine him like but it's a very close character too. So
it
it's hard. Yeah,
is.
yeah. In some
Yeah, somebody
ways.
that's
Yeah.
not necessarily like a sympathetic character.
Mm-hmm.
They make a lot of bad
Mm-hmm.
decisions, but you want to root for them anyway
Yeah. Got a lot of
somehow.
charisma. People are drawn to them, stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, and then also, side note, I wonder if John Travolta would have done those nude scenes that Keira did. Um,
Oh, I think
because
so.
I
I
don't think
mean,
he would have cared.
he
He
was in
wasn't
his
even,
prime at that
that's
moment.
true.
And he was even maybe a little bit skinny from doing all the dance
He
movies.
was, yeah.
Like,
He was thinner, yeah.
he
Yeah.
seemed younger, I think, than Richard
Yeah,
Gere.
totally. He would have been a more vulnerable, I think, character in that movie. Unless he gained weight or
Yeah.
gained muscle or something. He would have
Or
felt a
like
little bit more frail.
something different
Yeah.
with the hair. I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
Richard Gere always seemed kind of like older
He
because of
always
the
seemed
hair.
older. Yeah, yeah, he always seemed older, but he seemed a little bit more sophisticated. But yeah, anyways,
He seems a lot more sophisticated
yes,
than John
yes,
Travolta.
totally. I'm not sure like John Travolta would have. I don't like. I almost see it as a little bit. I know who the hell knows like how he would have approached it, but I almost see him approaching it like a little vaudevillian, almost like this. That's just how he is sometimes.
Yeah.
But
And
who knows?
also, like, is he wearing an Armani suit or is an Armani suit wearing him?
Exactly. I don't know. I don't know because
Does the Armani suit become the symbol of,
yeah.
success and wealth and power if it's on John Travolta in
Probably
his like
not, I want to
skinny
say.
6'2" frame?
Yeah, I want to say no, but who knows? But like, I want to say no because I mean, you think about he looks good in a suit. Again, go back to Pulp Fiction, which is kind of like his relaunch role.
Yes. Okay. So he looks great
Um,
in that suit.
he looks great in that suit, but he's a little bit bulkier. It's not the suit. He's definitely wearing that suit. It's not necessarily supposed to be a nice suit, though. I feel like he's kind of a seedy character in that movie. It's a little bit cheaper, like, stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but
It's not trying, it's trying to say like cool. It's not necessarily trying to say like r-
like rich or,
rich.
man about town. It just sort of like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's very
totally.
West Coast versus East Coast.
Very good point. Yeah. They're both in LA, but I feel like Richard Gere almost feels a little bit more East Coast in the
He's
movie.
always giving East Coast. I think it's
Hmm.
because of the accent. They actually both have
Yeah.
pretty thick New York accents.
Yeah,
So
that's true. And oddly, both those movies are in LA, but that's so true. They both kind of have New York accents. But yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I don't think I even clocked Richard Gere's accent as a kid because I guess I heard it enough or something that I didn't even clock it. But yeah, but
but he looks great in this movie.
yeah, Armani
He's
suit,
Armani suits,
he
all
sold
of the
it.
trappings, the
Yeah.
sunglasses,
Hmm.
the trench, the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Um, so a lot of movies in the 90s, I think, helped define there's, a million movies. We're not going to talk about all of them. We're going to talk only today about those designers again that were in the movies. We can talk about Clueless. We can talk about, um, oh my gosh, so many others that are not popping in my head at the moment. But you wrote down The Fifth Element, which I love. It's a great
This one
example.
is my favorite.
Yeah.
This one is like a fucking fever dream of just Jean Paul Gaultier going fucking nuts.
Yeah. I love it.
And he truly was a madman. He lost his goddamn mind. He did over 5,000 sketches and produced a
Oh my
thousand
God.
costumes.
I didn't know that.
He
Oh
was
my
like
God.
basically like running like, that sweatshop that like, like not that it was a sweatshop. It was probably
Yeah,
very
yeah.
like nice, and
Everyone's
everyone had a
paid
white
very
coat
well,
on, and they
hopefully.
like were
Yeah,
in
yeah.
atelier, but
Yeah.
like 1,000 costumes,
That's
and
crazy. Yeah.
it, yeah. Um, so he worked closely with the director Luc Besson to come up with like what they thought futuristic should look like, because I'm
Hmm.
sure in their minds, up until that point, futuristic looked like Barbarella, and
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, Jean-Paul Gaultier was like, I would like for it to kind of look like now. And
Yeah. Yeah.
his thought was that, like, in the future, people would still be wearing vintage clothing. So
Mm.
he
Yeah. Makes total
wanted,
sense.
whatever year this movie was set to kind of look like it was referencing whatever year the movie was made,
Mm.
which, I mean, it was so thoughtful. The details
Yeah.
were so detailed,
Yeah.
everything incredible. And I mean, I honestly can't thank him enough for everything that Chris Tucker was wearing in that movie.
I love Paul Gaultier, period. I have
I do
a
too.
magnet of him that I got when he did, I think it was, no, yeah. I hope I'm not mixing him up with a different one, but I'm almost positive. He did a show at the De Young had a show in San Francisco, had a show of his, and I lived there at the time. And I got this great magnet of him just surrounded by daisies
Oh,
and in his like striped sailor shirt. Um,
lovely.
Saw so many cool costumes there. He's just amazing. I love him.
A
But
madman.
yeah,
I
madman.
mean,
Yeah.
and I don't even know. I feel like the costumes that like are the favorites from this movie are actually so simple. Like
Hmm.
the white bandages that she's wearing at the
Yeah.
beginning, and then like what is basically like a white t-shirt and
Yeah.
some rubber suspenders,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just Bruce Willis in like every kind of vest is
Hmm.
just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's so good. And
Yeah.
then obviously like all of the cat suits that Chris
Yeah.
Tucker
Yeah.
is wearing when he's being like Prince or whoever he's being.
Yeah, yeah, Jean-Paul Gaultier, he's so innovative while being thoughtful. It's not like he's coming in with a sickle and like just cutting everything down for the sake of cutting everything down. He's so thoughtful about everything he does, and I so appreciate the costuming for this. And yeah, it was very pervasive at the time. Maybe you still see people dressed as her, as Mila Jovovich's character.
Djokovic?
Djokovic, I
Jokovic?
don't,
Is it a
Yoko.
soft J?
Who knows? Someone knows. I say who knows. But you still see people dress up as her for Halloween,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
yeah, yeah, and it's
It's
so iconic. Yeah.
it's just so good. And like, I don't know, to have created that many costumes, like he literally
Hmm.
created the world of
That's
this film.
incredible. He's like a mad genius. I love him.
He is an absolute
Yeah,
mad genius. And,
yeah.
it when you find a partnership like that, like he had
Hmm.
with that director, where like they're speaking the same language, and they're like they come up with something that's as brilliant and really stands the test of time as
Hmm.
well. Like, I think that this movie is not as good a movie if someone else costumes it.
Totally.
Because if
Yeah,
you take these
yeah.
costumes out, like, this movie's very silly, and it
Yeah,
doesn't have a
yeah.
whole lot to say. And,
Hmm.
it's kind of like a C sci-fi movie,
Hmm.
except for these costumes, which I think
Hmm.
really puts it over the top and is why it has really like become a cult classic.
I think with collaborative works of art like this, it's so interesting when it all works so well. And you're like, oh, everyone nailed this. There's times you watch a movie and you're thinking, who let this happen? Because so many people had to look at it for it to happen. And then there are movies like this where you think, oh my God, everyone just nailed it. And it made it into something that is great when it could have been, okay, like, and
Yeah, it
yeah,
could have
so
been very mid. It also could
yeah,
have been very bad.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, imagine the Barbarella costumes in that movie, it would have been way silly. So it's just depends on the context totally too. So
yeah.
yeah. And even though those are both great costume sets. But
Yeah,
yeah.
you have to have the right costumes for the right film.
Right
So,
story, right director. Yeah, totally.
yeah,
But
the alchemy of all of that is just incredible, and I love
mm-hmm,
that movie.
yeah. Um Speaking of
Um,
alchemy.
Oh, yes.
I did not know that Prada designed for Baz Luhrmann.
Yes. So
I had
this
no
is
idea.
has been kind of like the costuming thruple of
Wow.
the ages is Baz Luhrmann and Miuccia Prada and Catherine Martin. And they have worked on all, well, not all, I guess. Catherine Martin did not work on Romeo and Juliet, but on the Great Gatsby costumes and the Elvis costumes, and Miuccia Prada worked on the Romeo and Juliet costumes with
Mm.
another costume designer named Kim Bartlett. But I mean, these people work incredibly well together. The costumes are so beautiful. Honestly, they're
Yeah.
the only good thing about Elvis the movie.
Yeah, yeah, Ellis movie. Um, Also Austin Butler's accent that never went away just for amusement purposes. That was pretty good.
It was
But
pretty
yeah,
amusing.
yeah,
There were moments
yeah,
of this movie that were amusing, but the
yeah.
costumes were truly
The costumes are
remarkable
great. Yeah, yeah.
because they're so well known. Like these are pieces we have good photographs, we have
Mm-hmm.
good film, we have all of the references of what these actual costumes were,
Hmm.
not just like the performance costumes that Elvis wore, but like the wedding gown
Yeah,
that
Priscilla Presley's
Priscilla Presley
dresses.
wore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, so they recreated a lot of like historical pieces, and it looks amazing.
I know, it does.
And
Yeah.
you could put it up against the film Priscilla, which also did some really interesting stuff with the Priscilla and Elvis costumes,
Yeah.
um, but took a completely different kind of tact with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they used a lot more like actual archival pieces and then like
Mm.
tried to make like a more like accurate recreation of
Mm-hmm.
the pieces, where I think that in the Baz Luhrmann movie, because everything in Baz Luhrmann's world is so
Yeah.
like stylized and over the top,
Big
they were
and yeah.
going for like how we remember it feeling,
Yeah.
while also like giving that same look. Like if you were far away and you squinted, you'd be like, oh yeah, yeah, that's the dress.
Yeah. Yeah.
um so two completely different ways to approach it. um But yeah, and I think both those movies came out like within a year of each other too, which is so interesting.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. That is true. I think that's accurate. It was like within a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Elvis Mania.
yeah. Yeah. Everyone was like, this is the time for some reason.
Yes.
Um, but yeah.
And then
And then,
also The Great Gatsby. There was a
hmm
lot of actual Prada stuff, especially
mm,
for like the party scenes and stuff, the dresses, like the flapper dresses, that they kind of like picked from their archives that kind of already were referencing like a 1920s flapper moment,
hmm
and then kind of revamped them to fit the costumes of the
yeah,
movie,
the
which
style. Why can't anyone get The Great Gatsby right? I don't know. Did you like Baz Luhrmann's version? I wasn't a big fan, but
I love The Great Gatsby,
yeah.
the book.
Hmm.
I liked Baz Luhrmann's version.
Yeah.
I liked the parts of it that were obviously tongue in cheek.
Yeah. He brought humor to it, which wasn't in the other version, I feel like. Yeah.
And I really liked Carey Mulligan's performance.
Yes. Yes. She was great. I thought Leona DiCaprio was pretty good in it too.
It was pretty
Um,
good.
I feel like those two actors in a different context would have been great for the story. Something was just felt a little bit too showy. Like I understand why the
Mm,
choices were made, but the story to me feels so quiet and kind of personal, even though it is this over the top type of lifestyle.
mm.
I don't think that was captured quite as well. But that's just me. I don't-
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something off about it. I think that the the Tobey Maguire voiceover has a lot to
Yeah,
do with it.
yeah,
I think that he is just a little bit too like the volume. on Tobey Maguire is like turned up a little bit too much. Like his energy
Maybe that was it.
is
It was like too in my face about
a
it. Like, yeah.
little bit too high frequency.
Yeah.
He's a little bit he's smirking too much at the
Yeah, I see what
camera.
you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah, I think yeah, because I feel like everyone, I know we're not talking about Great Gatsby right now, but I just feel like everyone makes Gatsby into a caricature, and he's just or like a kind of one-dimensional like tragic character. And like the admittedly, The Great Gatsby is not my like favorite book, but I feel like there's so much more complexity there that everyone just kind of throws away sometimes. And I do the one scene that I loved is when Carey Mulligan and Leonardo DiCaprio see each other for the first time, and they did like a full like 10 seconds of silence or whatever it was in the book where they said like this was the full like, and it was great. I loved that scene.
Yes.
That was great. But and I feel like that's where like the very subtle nuances came out, and that wasn't always there. But anyways, costuming,
Yes.
costuming.
The costuming, I mean, I thought it was beautiful. That's
Yeah,
always like my favorite part of any Baz Luhrmann movie
yeah.
is going to
Moulin
be the
Rouge is
costuming.
really fun for costuming too.
Moulin Rouge is great for
Yeah.
costuming.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet has
Yeah.
great costumes. It
Very
has
good costumes.
incredibly sourced pieces from European design houses. Like there's Saint Laurent and there's,
Mhm.
you know, Prada and there's Chanel and there is like every kind of thing on all of these people.
Mhm.
And some of them are wearing contemporary costumes and some of them are wearing like doublets.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
And the way that they mix it together is so cool.
I love that.
It's kind of, yeah, it's like a, like if you could make a fantasy football team of fashion pieces,
Mhm.
that's kind of what the Romeo and Juliet
I
costumes remind me of.
totally see that. Yeah. And again, the symbolism with it, with the costumes are like, it's a little bit overt, but I loved it anyways. I mean, it's not meant to be a subtle movie, I don't think. Shakespeare
Yes.
is very subtle. So like I loved how Juliet was kind of always in like whites and light colors for the most part, and then Leonardo DiCaprio is always in these really loud colors. And the only gripe I had, and this might have been if you're really looking at it from like a 16-year-old girl's point of view, which is probably when I first saw it, was Claire Danes' wedding dress. It didn't
Mm.
feel like romantic enough to me, but at the same time, it could have been realistic because it's like they're getting married in secret. She could have just grabbed like a church outfit. Like we don't know, you know. So it kind of makes sense. So
I feel
um,
like,
it's like that vest that's like really like kind of high up. That was,
yes.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a button up. It was almost like I forget what they're called, but those like little pearly buttons almost that are usually on the back of a wedding dress. And it was
Yes.
very 90s. And it was probably silk or something really beautiful. But it for me as it when I was watching it was like, oh, I this was a letdown for me. But again, it might have
Yes.
made
Okay.
sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So the vest, and it's kind of, yeah, like a high
Mm-hmm.
V with pearl buttons.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving like 90s,
It's
maximum
giving 90s.
90s
Yeah.
energy.
It's giving maximum 90s energy. You're correct. And it's again, it could have been like, oh, she just had to grab her nicest white outfit, like whatever,
Or
it
maybe like it's also giving a little bit like she wanted to look grown up.
I
Um,
totally see that. Totally see that. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, yeah, I also first saw this movie when I was a teenager, and I remember thinking, like, I would never wear that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that if you're like trying to get married at 14, like, you
Yeah.
want to look more grown up than you
Get
are.
married at 14 in Venice, California, or wherever they are, yeah,
Yes.
in 1996 or whatever it was. But um and yeah, I think that was my first peek into drag too. I was the Romeo
Oh,
and Juliet. Because Mercutio is like a famous drag queen, right? And he or she, they did a great performance at the beginning of the
yes.
ball. So that was my first.
Yes.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I mean, it's all just It's
Yeah.
also good.
Yeah, it's
But
great.
you're
It
right. I think that her dress that she wears when she first meets him in the angel wings, that's
hmm
much more of the like romantic, like
hmm
Romeo and Juliet feel that kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like if it was a play and she had to be wearing one costume the entire time, it would have been that dress
Yes,
and not
yes.
the
Agreed.
button front dress.
Agreed. Yeah, yeah. And side note, the soundtrack is great for that movie too.
Oh,
It's just
it's
like all
so
came together.
good.
Again,
Everything is so
yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, there are definitely things you can say that are detractions from that movie, but they're just it's so fun and lovely and like so 90s and and wonderful performances and stuff. So,
Yeah, and the costumes absolutely make it. This
totally.
is one thing I think that when you have like fashion people involved in your filmmaking,
hmm
there's a level of like storytelling that is innate to doing clothing like this. And so
Yeah.
if you are a director who can speak that language, or even if you can't, even if you just like engage with it visually, it really can make or break a movie because
Yeah,
there are
yeah.
so many bad Romeo and
Oh my
Juliets.
God. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And I mean, this one, obviously, the alchemy, you're right, was like absolutely on point. All of the
hmm
performances, like, for me, are just top notch.
Yeah,
And
totally. Yeah. It was perfect timing. It was like great. Yeah, like I
it
said.
was perfect. It's, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely one of the formative pieces
Oh, for
of
sure.
my youth
Yeah.
involving theater and fashion.
Yeah. I do wonder if kids nowadays watch that movie. I mean, it's
They
obviously,
probably don't because Gen Z is like, no, it's toxic.
oh, Romeo and Juliet.
Gen Z is like anti-romance. They like,
That's true. Um, I don't know. I guess you got to be like, okay, I guess with romance, everyone's dealing with their own stuff, so there might be a little bit of toxicity there. Obviously, draw a line, but Romeo and Juliet, yeah, they're toxic. That's the story.
yeah,
You don't
that's
have
the
to, you don't
point.
have to be them. Just watch it. Like,
Just,
yeah,
yeah, just surrender to the magic.
yeah, it's Shakespeare. What are you gonna do? It was written 500 years ago. I don't
It's
know.
Shakespeare. What are you
Yeah.
gonna do? Let's put it on a
T-shirt.
t-shirt.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like they're so into the 90s though, and it's such a 90s movie. I feel like they should at least watch it. And
They should. I feel like
yeah.
maybe they would like. Maybe I'm not giving Gen Z enough credit. I'm
Yeah.
probably not.
Well, I don't know where to give them credit and not. I don't know enough Gen Zers, I guess, but I don't know.
Oh
Um,
boy.
yeah, we will one day. One day they'll be in the office with us. I guess they're already in the office with us. But
There's
anyways.
one Gen Zer in my office, and
hmm
it's just confusing every day. I'm just confused every day.
What's her fashion like? Or their or his or
Well, so there are two people actually. There's this one woman in my office who it took me a really long time to figure out that she was very young because she's one of these people that like you see them and you're like, she could be 40,
yeah,
she could be 20. I don't really
yeah.
know.
hmm
But she's 20 and her office fashion is all over the place. She wears these
Okay.
like it's not like a cape, it's like a robe. I feel like there's a word for this, and we probably used to wear them in like 2015. It's like a sheer kind of like hangy, like a Stevie Nicks like
Oh, like a
thing.
kimono
Do you know?
or a
Yeah,
wrap
like
or like
a
yeah.
kimono kind of, but it's not like done up. It's like it
hmm
hangs. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I had one that I remember selling on like Poshmark or something that I did love, but I never wore it. I know what you're talking about
yeah.
though.
I
Like a
definitely had them.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of that, and I'm just like, is it because you don't know how to dress for the office, or is this how you always dress? Like, I'm fascinated by her.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, she looks appropriate always, and she always looks very
Yeah.
nice, but I'm just like, it's perplexing.
Yeah. You're like, what's the angle here?
Like,
Is
yeah,
this
like
just yeah.
it's not referencing anything that I can immediately understand.
Okay, okay.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah, I'm
Anyway,
trying to think of the Gen Zers in my office. I don't see them that much because we're all virtual. So,
right.
yeah. Yeah, there's supposed to be a picnic tomorrow, but I'm working so much, I'm not sure I can go. So we'll
It's
see.
gonna
I'll report
rain.
back.
Don't worry about it. It's gonna rain
Okay.
tomorrow. Don't
Well,
even.
it's an hour away, but
Oh,
maybe it's gonna rain there too. I don't know.
maybe. I
Anyways,
mean, I hope you go. That sounds fun.
I know I want to go, but I'm so behind with work. It's like, do you want me to come socialize with you guys or you want me to like work? I don't know. But anyways, um, okay, so we have some, oh, of course, the most recent one with the designer cameo, so to speak, Challengers, Rachel.
Challengers.
Yeah,
Okay, so I feel like, yeah, Gretchen did not see Challengers, but she is
I'm a
intimately
dummy.
familiar
Yeah.
with tennis fashion.
Yes, very much.
So,
Yeah.
but this movie, like, can I just tell you that, like, it is hitting so many incredible things. This is where I think that, like, Jonathan Anderson's eye is
Mm,
so precise because it takes place over multiple decades
hmm.
and it follows the characters from when they're teenagers all the way up through their like mid 30s, and it's just every single fit is absolutely on point, like to down to like the smallest detail of like Zendaya's like velour zip up juicy couture sweatshirt that she
Oh,
wears when she's in a juniors tournament,
I love that.
to like the cutest little like homecoming dress that like probably is similar to what you wore to prom with like a bubble skirt,
Oh yeah.
and
Hmm.
because it's like that was the
That was
era.
so in. Yeah.
um it was like just slightly more elevated than like a normal high school kid would wear because she, was already like a famous juniors tennis champion at that moment, and like it
Yeah.
was it was so spot on. And then like, when Josh O'Connor is running around and he's like basically homeless, like his like homeless clothes are just like absolutely spot on as well. Everybody's like actual gear that they wear on the court, incredible. Like I think that what allowed this movie to feel so precise and to move so quickly and to be so exciting was that like your eyes are never tripping over anything on the screen that like shouldn't be there or is a little out of
Mm,
place. Like the characters so well
yeah.
all the way throughout the movie because of the way that their fashion evolves
Yeah.
and they evolve. And there's a scene in the middle where I don't mean to spoil the movie
It's
for
okay.
people who haven't seen it,
I
but
need to, I haven't done me for not watching it yet. I really need to watch it.
there's a scene kind of right in the middle where like Zendaya goes to meet up with her friend the tennis player who's not her husband. And she's wearing this like very like, wonderful buttoned up cardigan, like probably a cashmere, like a light cashmere cardigan in like a taupe color, and the scene is really really windy and she has no bra on, and it's just like it's so good. Like
Hmm.
it's just like the simplest little details of it. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just can't wait to see what he does next.
Yeah, I know. He's kind of amazing. He's doing so many cool things
And then
already.
he
But
did all of like their press tour fits and
oh, really? That's so cool.
like a
Yeah.
glammed up tennis dress with like, the tennis
Yeah,
colors,
I remember those.
and
Yeah.
the boys looking like this was when he was at Loewe, so the boys looking absolutely fucking stunning in like the
Yeah.
Loewe suiting, which
That's so
was
cool.
so precise.
Oh my God, I
Like,
love that. Yeah. I am so um my mom, Stephanie and my mom, how do you say that? My and Stephanie's mom is very into tennis. So almost in the summer exclusively wearing tennis stuff just because that's what she has. Like she's wearing the pleated skirts, all that stuff. So I did find it very fun to watch the press tour and see like the sparkly tennis dress and like sweaters that looked like my mom's old like sweaters from the 60s that she wore or 70s, what she wore when she was playing tennis back then. So it was really fun to see all that. And I love that precision where I mean, I do know it's kind of like I remember when my in school once someone was like, "Well, if you know your building well enough, you'll know what kind of windows you should have. You shouldn't have to think about it." And
ooh.
with this, it's like, "Well, if you know your character well enough, you should know what they would be wearing. You shouldn't have to think about it, you know?" So like it should all tie together. And it seems like he really did that here, which is really cool. So,
Yeah, it's incredible. And
yeah.
an incredible movie that I
Yeah.
really love, and I can't wait to see the
Okay.
next one.
Yeah, I really need to watch it. And yeah, and we do have some honorable mentions too. And I think at some point we should talk about TV fashion because there's been a lot of interesting TV fashion too that we
Yes.
should talk about.
I
I
feel
think
like we
it's
have to we'll do a whole other
once a month
piece
to go through.
on
Yeah.
TV. But before we skip to our honorable
Yeah.
mentions, I feel like we should try to put these films that we've talked about in order of like,
Yes. Oh, favorites and
yeah,
yeah, okay.
favorites, I
Okay.
guess. So what is your number
Oh,
five?
geez. Number five.
We have five,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, we have Challengers, American Gigolo, Fifth Element,
Oh, I snuck
Baz
in
Luhrmann's all together.
several Baz Luhrmann
Yeah.
movies. So Baz Luhrmann can be one
I'm
as
gonna
a
say,
category.
yeah, Baz Luhrmann is a category, and then Barbarella.
And Barbarella, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because I haven't seen Challengers, so I don't know. I can kind of like throw it. I probably would throw it there in the middle though, because it sounds, from what I've read and seen, and it sounds so precise, like you say. So I'd probably throw it in the middle somewhere. I would say not because I don't like the costumes, but just because like I think they have less of a cultural impact. I'd probably say the Baz Luhrmann ones are like my least favorite. I love them. They're definitely more of the world than they are like of the, of their own world
Of
almost.
their, yeah,
Yeah.
than they are of like the world of the film or the world that
Yeah.
the film portrays. I think
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. Um, it's so hard with the rest of them because they're so culturally impactful. In terms of like, I'll probably put Challengers as number four just because I'm less familiar with it, but I know like how genius it was. Like everyone talks about it. I've seen the examples. Probably Barbarella next. Just because I feel like it's less of my style. And again, there's like a campiness to it, which I love, but it's maybe a little bit less translatable, even though it was so of the time. It was definitely felt more costumey, which is okay. It's just like less my type, maybe. Um, American Gigolo for its impact and for its probably would wear most of those things today if I
Absolutely.
could. Yeah. And Jean-Paul Gaultier is probably number one for me just because I love Jean-Paul Gaultier and I'm like blown away that he made so many costumes. And like you said, it was really the costumes that brought this movie up to the level it was. I don't think this movie would have survived without the costumes. So I think in terms of impact in the whole movie, Jean-Paul Gaultier would be my number one. So yeah.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
that's exactly right. I think that I might switch American Gigolo and Barbarella
Yeah,
just to like lean slightly more into the like camp
for sure. Yeah.
costumes,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I only said Armani, or I only said American Gigolo because Armani became such a name from this, and people still say Armani suit.
You're
But I
right.
think
So
in
the
terms of
cultural
like,
impact was
yeah,
more.
yes, for sure. But Paco
You're right.
Rabanne, I think was the creativity there was amazing. Obviously there's a lot more stretch of the imagination that has to go to something like Barbarella. So I do feel like in terms of creativity and innovation, that's ahead of like American Gigolo for sure. But
But yeah, in terms of
yeah,
cultural impact,
hmm
definitely Giorgio
yeah,
Armani with American Gigolo.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's right. I think
yeah,
that's the right order.
yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So, just to go quickly to our honorable mentions, Grace Jones in A View to a Kill. And
Mhm.
this woman is just like absolutely the star of the show of this James Bond movie in these custom Alaya pieces. She's the only one in the film who's costumed by Alaya. She's wearing these like hats and hoods, and
Yeah.
she looks like Grace Jones to begin with, and she's standing next to all of these like very British looking people, and it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to give that an honorable mention because no one else could pull this off. No one else would have designed
Yeah.
these things this way, and in every shot she's in, she looks like a modernist sculpture.
Yeah.
Just like the shapes of every part of every piece of every costume are just like worth watching this movie.
Yeah. She is incredible and she wears things that I don't think anyone else could pull off, but Alaya doing all this was is kind of amazing. But
Amazing.
um I as a side note for Grace Jones fashion moments, I we watched Pee Wee Herman's Christmas special every year growing up. I still watch it sometimes. Grace Jones, her dress in that, or like her outfit, her whole ensemble is so amazing. It's like molded to her body and it has like a big like ball gown. I think it's Issey Miyake. Is that how you
Okay.
say that? I think he made that.
Yes, I think you're right.
He worked at a couple different places, but he also has his own line. But yeah, so I think he passed away. But
Oh,
he was not too long ago. But he's really interesting as well. He's like very influenced by art and stuff. I actually think he made Steve Jobs's turtlenecks, which is the
whoa.
opposite of Grace Jones's dress in that, but he does some crazy stuff. Yeah,
That's
as well as
that's something.
yeah, I know. Miyake is worth looking into. I don't really know much about him, like if he, you know, I don't know much about him beyond that, but
What
I
a
also
flex to have like a
yeah,
plain black turtleneck or
I
like
know.
several plain black
Yeah.
turtlenecks be created for you by like a couture artist.
I know. She's
Fucking
like, can
Steve
you make that? I
Jobs.
know. Can you guys make these for me? He's he also I think he was influenced by Noguchi, which is
Yes.
he's and I love him as a designer. So that was cool. But yeah, so side note, Grace Jones on in costumes on TV.
Yeah,
Um
basically Grace Jones in anything,
and
but in
anything.
particular in A
Yes,
View to a
yes,
Kill in the
yes.
Alaya, and I'm thinking in particular of the hat.
Yes, she's in
If
yeah.
you're watching us on YouTube, you
Yeah,
can see what
yeah.
I'm
It's
doing with
the
my
slanted
hands.
hat. Yes,
It's like
yeah.
a slanted structural hat.
Yeah, yeah. I think in terms of, I know people again would be like yelling if we didn't mention certain ones. There, of course, are many that have been pervasive from the early 2000s, mid 2000s that still show up on my Instagram, like um, the green dress from Atonement. Not these are not by famous designers; these are just by costumers. But maybe we'll talk about them a little bit later. But the green dress from Atonement that Keira Knightley wore. I actually, like I said, I read the book and I actually thought it matched really well, which I thought was nice and refreshing. I read that Jacqueline Duran, who designed it, was very influenced by Chanel, and she worked with Joe Wright, who directed the movie. Um, I love the story about Almost Famous because that movie is problematic and I don't love it anymore. But as a kid, I loved it.
Wait,
Uh,
what? You don't love it anymore?
well, because I don't know. It
What
just we can.
is I feel like I'm not clocking. It's not clocking to me that
Yeah,
we're standing on business with
I
Almost Famous.
I think that the reason I don't love it anymore is because it's just another manic pixie dream girl scenario where I don't think she's
Um,
like fleshed out. Penny Lane is like fleshed out enough. There are moments where she almost gets like a three-dimensional arc, but not quite. Um, I think that's why it bothers me now because I spent my childhood or like, 15 to 18 being like, can you just be more like Penny Lane and be cool and be like relaxed? But like she's not relaxed. She's stressed out. Like if you think about it, like she's stressed about her boyfriend being married, whatever.
yeah.
Anyways,
That I mean, that sounds stressful.
yeah, it's stressful.
It's stressful
Um,
when you're a teenager and your adult boyfriend who's
yeah.
married is a rock star.
Yeah.
Now that I'm saying it out loud, you're right. There are several problematic things about that
Yeah.
film.
Not that I don't like appreciate it still and it's still fun to watch, but like
I
yeah,
still love
I
it.
know.
I
But
can't help it.
I understand. I was Penny Lane for Halloween like 2 or 3 years, and so my mom had this big coat that kind of mimicked Penny Lane's jacket in Almost Famous. And what I loved about that is it gave her like such a presence, and it like really like and it like kind of like went with her curly hair, and like what I read is they actually made that jacket from a rug from Urban Outfitters, so like that fuzzy part. And I think that's happened a lot in movies, like they go find rugs from like cheap places and
And
use
just
them as
put
jackets.
trim on
Yeah.
things. I
Hmm.
love that.
Yeah, yeah, I love that too. Um, so I thought that was really fun to read. Um,
Especially
another,
because like Urban Outfitters, like
yeah,
speaking of things that are problematic, was like a
very
big
problematic.
part of our teenage fashion
True.
years.
Yes,
So
yes, I know. So it almost was inadvertently like part of the culture. Um, but yeah, and then of course there's I still see pictures of Kate Hudson's yellow dress from 10 Things I Hate About, not 10 Things, How to Lose a Guy
Oh,
in 20
from
Days
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. That's a
coming
great
up. It's
dress.
a great dress. It looks, and the thing about it is, it's almost like she wasn't wearing her colors the whole movie or something, and then all of a sudden she comes out in this dress and she's like glowing. Um,
Yes.
and of course it's supposed to be glowing from love, but I feel like it's just because they finally got her season right or something.
So
Um,
she's a summer?
yes, that seems like a summer color.
This is
Uh,
like so confusing to me because like I really always want to wear yellow,
yeah.
but I always felt like as a blonde person that was not
Mm,
it.
mm.
And then
And
this
then Kate
Kate
Hudson
Hudson dress
comes
comes
out.
out of left field, and honestly, I've been chasing this
Yeah,
dream since
I
that movie came
know.
out of like a canary yellow dress
Hmm.
that like didn't look insane on me or like I was an air traffic controller.
Yeah, because you have similar colorings to her, and you have similar hair to her in that movie because she
I
had curly
think,
hair
yeah, like we have a
at the
similar
end.
hair color kind of sometimes.
Mm.
I think that maybe she has like a little bit more of like a, like it seems like her skin could tan potentially. Mine
Yeah, a
cannot.
little bit warmer
A little
overtone or
bit,
undertone,
yeah,
whatever.
warmer of an undertone, but I'm still chasing it. I thrifted one canary yellow dress once that like really the color did look incredible on me, but the
Oh,
cut of the dress wasn't quite right, so I
oh,
returned it.
okay.
But
But now you know that it's possible
it's
to find
possible,
the
and
right
I just
color.
have to find it again.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually feel the same way. I used to have this golden, like autumn properly colored for me, I thought, sweater. And whenever I wore it, my mom would be like, I hate that sweater. And I'm
Oh,
like, why? It shouldn't
oh,
be, it should be fine. She never says anything like that about anything. So I'm like, she must really hate that sweater.
wow.
Um,
I
but
mean, that is gutting
yeah,
coming from your mom, who
I
is
know.
the most stylish
Very
person that I know.
stylish. I know. And she gets dressed every single day. And I'm like, she was like, Are you really gonna wear that to your meeting? I'm like,
Oh my God.
fine, mom, I'll get changed.
To your meeting on Zoom?
On Zoom. Yeah, it doesn't matter. She's like, you're gonna wear that like graphic t-shirt. I'm like, no one can
Oh,
see. It's fine.
mom.
It's okay, mom. It's all right. I understand. All moms are like that from the Gen Boomers, Gen X, whatever. Yeah, so
The the boomer the what are
boomers,
our
yes.
parents? But they're boomers.
They're
Okay.
boomers. Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like they were always like, no, you have to go out wearing lipstick or something.
Oh
I don't
my
know.
God. I can't even tell you how many times that I like was grounded for like not having my mascara correct.
Really? Oh my
Oh my
gosh,
God.
Heidi. Oh wow.
It
That's so
yeah.
funny.
It was
Yeah.
a process getting out the door in the morning.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. My mom was just like, I don't think she ever punished me for anything I wore. Um, but she definitely would buy me, she still buys me things that are not my style. I'm like, it's beautiful. I don't want to wear it, but it's beautiful, so it's hard for me to part with it. Like it's just really hard. Yeah.
It's
So,
so hard.
yeah, I know.
It's so hard. Having a
Yeah.
mom is
Having
so
a mom is
hard.
hard. As everyone knows, having a mom is hard. We love
Having a
them.
mom that's involved in your life is
Yeah.
like it's such a blessing, but it
Yeah.
is so complicated
It can be
sometimes.
complicated. Yeah, it can be very complicated. Um, but yeah, anyways. All right, well, this was fun. I love talking about movies, fashion together. So
Yes,
more to
me
come.
too. More
Yeah.
to come on this subject. I definitely want to do TV.
Hmm.
I definitely want to also cover courtroom fashion at some point, and I hope that
Yes.
we get to it this fall
Yes.
because I
Yeah,
think that there's a lot to say.
for sure. For sure.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Yeah.
And our third Sofalite hopefully will be back
Yeah.
joining us next week, and what we'll talk about will be a surprise
Yeah. Surprise to everyone.
to everyone, including us.
Well, yeah.
If you have suggestions,
Yeah.
though, about other film moments, fashion moments, TV moments, just moments in time,
Yeah.
please drop us a line. You can email us at nysofalites@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on Instagram
Hmm.
at nysofalites, and we would love to hear from you.
Yeah, we love it. But yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.